8-year-old girl lost her voice after watching her parents die, until a lonely miner made her speak. The night the fire came, Lily didn't understand what was happening. She was only 8, her small hands clutched around her favorite doll, its porcelain face cracked in a way that somehow seemed comforting. Outside, the wind howled through the small valley, rattling the windows of their wooden cabin. Then came the smoke, thick and choking, curling through the cracks in the walls. Her parents had been arguing earlier that evening, something about debts and the failing farm. Lily didn't understand the words, only the tension in her mother's voice, the sharpness in her father's tone. She had hidden under the table when the fire began, the flames reflecting in her tear-filled eyes. She remembered the screaming, the crashing of furniture, and then the unbearable heat. When the neighbors finally arrived, it was too late. Her parents were gone. Lily didn't cry at first. She couldn't. Her voice had vanished, stolen by the shock, leaving only a silent scream lodged somewhere deep in her chest. Days turned into weeks, and Lily remained silent. The townspeople tried to comfort her, to coax her into speaking, but nothing worked. She would nod or shake her head, communicate with gestures, but words refused to come. The orphanage where she was placed was kind but cold. The other children played and laughed, but Lily sat in the corner, clutching her doll, her eyes hollow and distant. Winter came early that year, and with it, the harsh loneliness of the mountains. The orphanage was warm, but it felt like a prison to Lily. She missed her parents in a way that words could never capture. She spoke to no one, not even the nuns who tried to guide her. Her silence became a part of her, a protective shell against a world that had taken everything. Then, one day, a man arrived in town. His clothes were dusted with coal, his hands rough and scarred from years underground. He introduced himself simply as Thomas, a miner who had come seeking work at the nearby mines. He was a solitary man, quiet and observant, with eyes that had seen too much and said even less. He noticed Lily immediately, sitting on the steps of the orphanage, staring at the snow-covered valley like she was searching for something lost. Thomas didn't speak much to the children at first. He was awkward with words, preferring silence, the way a miner prefers the quiet of a cave to the chaos of the surface. But there was something in Lily that drew him in, a sadness that mirrored the grief he had carried for years since losing his own family in a mining accident decades ago. Slowly, he began to visit her, bringing small gifts, rocks shaped like hearts, shiny pieces of coal, even wildflowers he found on his rare trips outside. Lily didn't respond at first. She would take the gifts with her silent acknowledgement and retreat into her corner. But Thomas was patient. He never demanded words from her. Instead, he shared stories of the mine, of the darkness, the silence, the strange beauty hidden underground. He described the glitter of quartz, the feel of the cold stone, the sound of water dripping in the tunnels. His voice was calm, steady, never pressing, like the slow rhythm of the earth itself. Over weeks, Lily began to imitate him, whispering to herself the sounds he made, trying to form the shapes of words without the courage to speak them fully. Thomas noticed and encouraged her silently, nodding, smiling, never forcing her. One day, he brought a small wooden whistle he had carved. "Try this," he said simply, handing it to her. Lily hesitated, then placed it to her lips. A soft, trembling note escaped, shaky and unsure. She pulled back, wide-eyed, but Thomas only smiled. "Good," he said, softly. Again. The next day, she tried again, and then again. The notes became clearer, stronger, until one afternoon, as snow fell silently over the valley, she whispered, "Hello." Her voice was barely audible, fragile as ice, but it was real. Thomas's eyes filled with tears, though he didn't move. He simply nodded, giving her space to find her own courage. From that day, Lily's voice slowly returned. She didn't speak much, but the silence between her words was no longer a wall. It was a space where she could grow, where she could rebuild herself from the pieces left behind. She began to tell Thomas small stories, first about the dolls she loved, then about the farm she remembered, then about her parents, in whispers that grew stronger each day. Through Thomas, Lily discovered something she thought she had lost forever: hope. She learned that grief didn't have to silence her completely, that even after the worst losses, the world could still hold beauty and kindness. Thomas became more than a friend. He was her anchor, a reminder that even in the deepest darkness, someone could reach out and help you speak again. Years later, Lily would tell people that she never forgot the miner who had saved her voice. She became a storyteller herself, sharing tales of courage, loss, and healing. And though her parents were gone, she carried them in her words, giving life to their memory with every story she told. Sometimes, when she returned to the valley as an adult, she would visit the old mine with Thomas. They would stand in the cold silence, listening to the echoes of the earth, and she would speak to it, softly, firmly, beautifully, because she had learned that even the deepest silence could be broken by patience, kindness, and the courage to whisper, "Hello," again.